They say Guam was discovered in 1521, but I don't know how you can discover a place where Chamorro people have lived for 3,000 years. Guam is an island that's been conquered not once, not twice, but 3 times. For 140 years, Spanish ships kept stopping by our island. Then in 1668, this priest named Salvatore came to stay. He wanted our people to be Roman Catholic. At first, the new religion didn't seem so bad, but eventually, we fought the Spanish over it. The war lasted 30 years. They forced us to leave our homes and destroyed our canoes. In 1898, Spain sold our island to the Americans. Americans created schools, but punished us for speaking Chamorro. In 1941, the Japanese took over our island. Many of my people were killed. Our women were raped. Eventually, we were put in camps. We waited for the Americans until 1944. We now call that Liberation Day. They called us American citizens, but we couldn't vote for president. We didn't farm as much, and we started eating food that came on big ships. We listened to the Beatles and Elvis Presley. Eventually, we didn't know much about our ancient dances and music. A lot of Japanese people started coming to Guam for vacation. Today, over 1 million people a year come here. We started learning Chamorro in school and dancing our dances again, but we still can't vote. My people have survived many bad things. Who knows what will happen next?
Who are we? What is our identity? The United States has determined that we own Guam, we own Puerto Rico, we own American Samoa, we own the Virgin Islands. And so we also own the rights of the people who live there. For the most part, people are okay with sort of a complicated identity where you have all of these sort of loyalties, you have all these connections, you feel all of these things which may contradict in some ways, but in others, you know, you can sort of keep a sense, a coherent sense of reality. But there are sort of fundamental ways where that issue emerges, and you can't deny it anymore. We were this small island people who love to party and fish and farm and sing and dance. But over there we have the United States, which invented freedom, and it's got bald eagles and, oh my goodness, internet, all of these fancy things. And so we looked at it and we're like, man, we should just give up who we are and become like them, and that's better, because they're so much better. Chamorros came to believe what they offered the world as being inferior, inadequate, as not meaning much. The problem that we face now is about sort of the lack of pride. What culture is, for me, is that sense that I shouldn't give up who I am. I shouldn't give up this land. I shouldn't give up this language. I shouldn't basically give over everything to those who come from elsewhere offering things or telling me lies.
My name is Rana Faji. I'm 57 years old. I'm a builder. I build traditional canoes, and I teach the art of building and the art of sailing. One day I'd like to be a navigator, but anyways, that's down the road.
The canoes, the navigation which they use to sail throughout the Marianas Islands, to the Caroline Islands, and even to Southeast Asia and the Philippines, many of those are destroyed. The Spanish try to lay the new foundation for Chamorro life. And the knowledge is not allowed to be passed on for fear that Chamorros will escaped the Spanish control.
We're hoping that we can recreate what our ancestors did. We don't know that yet. It's still a mystery to us.
No, that's it. My name is Francisco B. Rabon, and I'm currently the master of Chamorro dance for the island of Guam. I was born of indigenous heritage, and as a child, there was never any introduction from my grandparents or any of the elders regarding our pre-contact dances that basically identify us as indigenous people. Most of the dances that were introduced to me were from the Western society.
When the Spanish colonized Guam and the Marianas and conquered Chamorros, the Spanish noted that Chamorros danced. We don't have a lot of evidence of what those dances looked like. There's fragments here and there, but ultimately those dances were lost. And then Chamorros adopted new dances from the Philippines, from Spain.
I became a professional dancer in 1971 at the Guam Hilton Hotel. And in those hotels, they had Polynesian shows. Those are people that were brought in from Hawaii and Tahiti, and they were doing the dinner shows there. So I became a dancer of that. It was then that I was introduced by my instructor to the idea of researching my people. She goes, Frank, there's got to be something that your people did. It cannot just be the Spanish batsu or the Spanish coconut shells or the cha-cha or the jitterbug. There had to be something. Our civilization existed 4,000 years ago.
Like, why don't we have dances that we can call our own? Well, history says you lost them all, you forgot them all. A lot of people think that that's how culture works. You had a culture, you lost that, so you can't ever have it back. But that's not how people actually work. Cultures are always reimagining themselves.
In 1983, I decided I'm going to give up what I was doing as a probation officer for 10 years, and I'm going to focus on trying to reestablish something that I felt was lost.
And so what we saw in the 80s and the 90s was we saw these groups emerge who wanted to create dance in a Chamorro style. Now, these groups looked to other islanders for influences. They looked to Polynesian islanders. They looked to Micronesian islanders. Some of them even looked to Taiwanese, native Taiwanese dance. But then they created what at first was largely rejected by society on Guam. So Frank Rabon for Tau Tau Tano, a lot of people rejected their dancing, saying, you guys are making it up. That's not how we danced before. That's not how Chamorros dance. If we did something before, why can't we do it again? Who is to say that we can't do it again?
I'm Audrey Mano, and I'm 18 years old. I just graduated from high school, and I want to be a naturopathic doctor, and I also would like to have my own farm. I want to grow the types of medicine that were traditionally used throughout the Chamorro culture for thousands of years, because I want to have the option to use natural medicine instead of going to the drugstore all the time. I really think that we would benefit from going back to simpler times.
So all this here, even the hibiscus, it's a medicine.
One thing that is very heartening to see today is that you have a group of healers who are trying to keep that traditional practice alive.
What I'm trying to pass on is to teach, because now we're losing a lot of knowledge, the culture, and I want to bring back the culture by teaching you just a basic of how to heal your family, and then you pass it down to your kids.
Surahanos were almost part of your family relationship. Your family went to these healers, and you didn't just go to another one, but it was part of that generational relationship that you have taken care of my family for this long. You know, we will take care of you.
I'm 67. I don't have any diabetes, cholesterol. I go out and I eat my grass. I never use Western medicine. I only use mine. Very seldom I take medicine.
Surahanus were very particular about not taking money.
If I want to make money, I could start charging and make money, but that's not what I learned and what my ancestors teach me.
You can see then in the Chamorro way there, it's not about this sort of, I have money, therefore I should have services. I have money, therefore I should be able to get what I want, which is that very capitalist sort of mentality.
Money is the root of all evil. It could make you happy, could make you sad. You take this one here, if you have pink eye, and you have pink eye, you just squeeze it on your eye.
In your eye?
Yes. And it's like an eye drop.
Oh, yeah.
Let me get the juice out. There you go.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't hurt. That's good. I brought it up to my grandpa that I want to get into agriculture, I want to farm, I want to open up this place. You know, I thought he would be supportive because he's the one growing up, his background is ranching, and that was what they did back then. But when I told him, you know, he just was really against it. He was saying, no, I don't want you to go to school for an agriculture degree. Why would you want to be a farmer? You know, I just wanted his support, but you know, even though he shut me down, I'm not gonna stop.
Those healers are not just offering healthcare, but they're offering a view of the culture, a cultural sort of proposal saying, why don't you connect to each other not through money, but why don't you connect to each other through these reciprocal relationships, where then it's not so much that I pay you, you show up, and then you get out of my life, but where it's this lifelong generational connection.
Just because one person said, don't do it, don't let that stop you. Go for it.
Well, what's going on right now is that we're setting up for our voyage. Super stoked, excited. It's my first long voyage. I feel like I've always been a part of something bigger than myself, bigger than my kid. He needs to know who we are, and this is who we are.
Mira, turn! Mona! What I'm doing now is continuously teaching. That's my passion. The people that are learning from me understand fully who they are, that they are born of indigenous heritage. Okay, now keep it steady, 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 growth in the kakak. Apunta, hatsa, dua, duduk, sikat.
There are 200 and some Chamorro cultural dancers out there right now on Guam. I really hope one day that hotel industries or big organizations would give our Chamorro people the opportunity to be themselves, why are we ashamed? Why do we not want to know who we truly are? That we are indigenous and we are important.
You guys in the tourism industry, wake up and smell the coffee. You are misrepresenting us. You continuously promote Polynesia. So what's the problem here, Guam? What's wrong with this picture?
Our history didn't begin in July 1944 when the Americans returned. Our history didn't begin in 1898 when the Americans took us from the Spanish. It didn't begin in 1950 when we got citizenship through the Organic Act. It begins much earlier. So we shouldn't cheapen our sense of identity, our place in this world, by saying that being a part of the United States is all that we are, or we're just another minority in the United States, we're just another culture. We're much more than that. That's the reality of that idea that Guam is American soil, is that it was Chamorro soil for a lot longer. And even the idea that it is American soil is problematic because it's not a full, real part of the United States. It's a territory that the United States owns.
Right now we're just we're adjusting the sails and stuff because the snap.
I think any time you pass a reef, it's always dangerous. If you don't show respect, if you're not always up to par with what nature gives us, and you just lose a second of that, we could lose out there, you know. So I wish there was elders that can kind of guide me in some sense, saying, you know, you can't attach this on to this because it might snap. But if this is the way we have to learn, then this is the way we're going to learn.
I'm not going to stop.
We're being driven by the spirits to continue on.
Follow your dream. If this is what you want to do, go for it. It might take you a while, but just sit down and concentrate. Where can I get help to do this? Where can I get the seeds? Because the more you open to yourself, the more you talk to people too, they're willing to help you. You know, don't, just because one person said, don't do it, don't let that stop you. Go for it. Go for your, whatever your dream. And like I said, this is really my dream when I was growing up, and then it became a hobby, and now it become reality. I think Audrey will get up there. Like I said, she's very intelligent. She's got a guidance that will help her, but she's not ready yet to commit it. When she's ready, she'll know.
The Chamorro sense of it was that your Surahanu is not somebody who just provides you a service, but they're somebody that you have a social relationship to. Could that be a better model of healthcare?
We're now just setting up to prepare to go sailing.
about 8 years old when I started sailing. My first time going off island, I was on a canoe, not on an airplane.
And the passion with the group we have is just outrageous. That's what's keeping me going. It's the drive that these guys have. We don't know it all, but we want to learn. And to do that, we got to come out here and keep doing it.
I will continue to teach till the day I die because I want to make sure that the generation of Chamorros that are not born yet will have something to look forward to, because the people that I've taught will turn around and teach, and they will continue to teach, and the legacy will continue to go on. That's what I intend to leave for my people, the people that I'm very proud of, the Chamorro people of the Mariana Islands. Just be proud of who you are and don't forget that you are Chamorro.